By now, you've likely heard or seen that Billie Eilish, all 22 years of her, made some negative comments about artists releasing multiple versions or variants of vinyl records of the same album. I have something to say about this. Hi everyone, I'm Paul Crayson, and you're watching Music Mentions. On March 28th of 2024, Billboard released an interview with Billie Eilish where Billie was asked about her efforts to make her vinyl releases more ecologically sustainable. For example, she uses 100% recycled black vinyl plus recycled scraps for the colored variants and shrink wrap made from sugarcane, all of which I 100% support, as long as there is zero deterioration in audio quality, of course. This is an absolutely commendable effort on her part, and she deserves recognition for her actions on this front. However, she then said this to Billboard. And then it's some of the biggest artists in the world making fucking 40 different vinyl packages that have a different unique thing just to get you to keep buying more. It's so wasteful and it's irritating to me that we're still at a point where you care that much about your numbers and you care that much about making money, and it's all your favorite artists doing that shit. This is what I'd like to mostly focus on during this video. First of all, it's important to note that Billie released her last album, Happier Than Ever, which is fantastic by the way, with 8 vinyl variants. Billboard, to their credit, pointed this out in the interview, but never insisted that Billie clarify if she fought against this with her record company, Darkroom Interscope Records, or if she simply went with it because variants are required for her sales to compete with other top-tier variant releasing artists for better chart positions. You see, fans of artists will frequently buy multiple variants of the same release, each variant counting as a separate sale of the release. So one Billie fan may purchase all 8 variants and therefore rack up 8 sales for Billie. By the way, for those of you that may not know, vinyl variants are typically different with regards to their vinyl coloring, but can also just be variations of the album cover or even contain extra songs. Regardless, her hypocrisy here is clearly evident. If she really cared about the environmental impact of multiple variants, she would have insisted on only one simple vinyl release, not 8. She certainly has enough power in the industry to have done this, so if she's going to blast other artists for variants, then she should have first made sure that she was being ideologically consistent with her own variant releases. She's living in a glass house and throwing stones here. The second thing I'd like to discuss regarding this whole controversy is the immediate reaction to this Billboard interview. Although Billie didn't mention her, Taylor Swift, as the artist that is currently selling more vinyl records and variants than anyone else, appeared to be who Billie was referring to in the interview. And boy, did the Swifties and their pitchforks come out for Billie. They attacked Billie for throwing shade at their goddess. So Billie then released this clarification on Instagram. Okay, so it would be so awesome if people would stop putting words into my mouth and actually read what I said in that Billboard article. I wasn't singling anyone out. These are industry-wide systemic issues, and when it comes to variants, so many artists release them, including me, which I clearly state in the article. The climate crisis is now, and it's about all of us being part of the problem and trying to do better. Sheesh. At least here she admits that she's part of the problem. Also, I think the fact that she felt she had to clarify that she wasn't targeting Swift in the interview tells us all about the spell that Swift holds over her flock. These Swifties are quite a sensitive and defensive bunch. Don't fuck with the Swifties, folks. Another thing to point out here is that the only artist I'm aware of that has ever released 40 or more variants of the same album is the Rolling Stones with their last release, Hackney Diamonds. They had something like 43 variants. Finally, I want to point to the elephant in the room. In all the articles and videos I've seen about this controversy, there's been no one to mention what I believe to be the single most important thing. 99% of working musicians don't make shit from streaming services. Everyone knows this, so why hasn't anyone mentioned this in regard to this Billie controversy? The vast majority of musical artists have to try to make a living from busting their asses on grueling tours and through merch sales and through physical media sales, like vinyl. There are only a handful of people in the entire world like Billie or Swift that could possibly make a living from streaming alone. Billie, and it seems most music journalists that have written about this controversy, seem to have forgotten all about these lesser-known artists. To begrudge or shame these artists from issuing multiple variants because they're trying to do what they can to keep a roof over their heads and feed their families is a bad look, if not downright despicable. Now, to be fair to Billie, she's so far removed at this point from the struggles of lesser-known musicians that she probably didn't even consider them during the Billboard interview. She lives in a different and elite reality. I'll grant her the benefit of a doubt here on this point, but if anything needs a clarification from her about this interview, it's how she feels about arguing for taking away an important revenue stream from struggling and lesser-known artists. I'm a fan of Billie's, and I'm sure that it was just an oversight on her part, but it would be great to hear from her on how these other artists can make money on vinyl if she wants them to abandon variants or limit the number of variants to help save the environment. If you've been watching my channel, then you know that I'm a big vinyl proponent for many reasons. As a matter of fact, at the end of this video, I'm going to link to a video I made not too long ago explaining my reasons. Now, I'm all for supporting the environment through more sustainable vinyl packaging or whatever, but we also need to really consider the overall impact to working musicians. At this point, because the music industry and streaming companies continue to fuck over these musicians in favor of celebrity musicians like Billie or Swift or cowgirl Beyonce, I want to say to the working musicians, make all the vinyl variants you need in order to support yourself and your families. To my viewers, I hope you all support your favorite non-Billboard level musicians by buying all the vinyl variants you can afford. These artists can use all the financial support they can get. Anyway, thanks everybody. Appreciate you guys watching me today. As usual, if you like this content, like my channel, please hit the subscribe or at a minimum, just give me a like. Hit the notifications button. I'm going to catch you cats next time.